Hey guys, this is Financial Fitness, and today I've got Joe Brown with Hersey Financial. I'm a huge fan. He is super smart and he has a really good grip on what's going on in the economy. And I just found out he used to be a vegan.
Yeah.
And that's really cool because, I like to talk about all different diets and how they work, and because I want the best for, I want to know what the best information is. And what you were telling me about your experience, would you share that with us?
Yeah, so it was a couple years ago now, and I've always been very interested in health, but I haven't been able to actually, carry it out or follow through with something. And so one of the things that I tried for a while, because I was, introduced to some literature and some reasoning that seemed reasonable to me, I became a vegan. And I didn't share the story with you yet, but I got my whole family on board with it, and so we were just eating pure vegan, and we weren't even doing the processed stuff like the Impossible Burger wasn't out yet or anything. This was years ago, and so there's one restaurant in our city that's a vegan restaurant, and they do like imitation food where you can go there, you can get like a cheeseburger. And they have like fake cheese, fake meat, like everything. You can get nacho cheese fries and like a milkshake and all that, but it's all vegan. And no joke, we walked in there and this was this was the first thing that opened our eyes. Everybody in the entire restaurant was over 300 pounds. And we looked around and we're like, something doesn't add up here. If everybody who's eating here is like, I'm a vegan, but I want to experience regular food again, but not have to actually cheat. And they were all, it wasn't like, I was expecting to go in and see people that looked like you, just a bunch of muscle and no fat and like, very healthy. And it was like, it was a very different reality versus expectations. And so that kind of got me thinking. And then my mom actually, she was starting to get worried about my health because I was vegan, and I was telling her about it, and she's like, I don't want to tell you what to do, but please read this article. She started sending me stuff. And the one that kind of really got my mind going was from Dr. Mercola. And I don't remember what the article was, but then I started going deeper onto what he was talking about, and then I read his book, Fat for Fuel, and I saw the intellectual sleight of hand that's being pushed by really the vegan agenda, and showed how, number one, like not all fat is created equal. So a lot of the initial health benefits that people get if they do go vegan on like a zero fat diet is because now they're getting no seed oils. They're getting no vegetable oils. And that is poison. It is basically one-to-one correlated over the last 100 years with the rise of every chronic illness, heart disease, cancer, all of that. And it has, like, contrary to like popular thought, when you plot the rise of these illnesses versus the rise of something like meat consumption. Meat consumption has gone up a little bit, but then you break it apart into what kind of meat. Beef consumption over the last years has gone down. The only meat consumption that's gone up is chicken. And so when you start to look at the science and dive into the details, kind of the agenda falls apart, and then you look at the biology and realize this is how our bodies work. This is what our bodies need. And then you look at history, this is what all humans have done for all of history, has been on a primarily animal-based diet. So that was kind of the beginning of my journey. And then stuff happened, and COVID happened, and lockdowns and all of that. And it got to January 1st of 2021, this year. And I had made up my mind. I was like, I'm done. Like, I know I have the knowledge now, but I hadn't put it into practice. I was still eating chips and cookies and candy and ice cream. And I started looking at myself in the mirror, and I was like, I've got 2 kids. I've got a 4-year-old daughter. It's like, I want to be able to walk her down the aisle someday. I don't want to be that guy that when she's, 15 years old, I have a heart attack. You know what I mean? And so I just decided, I was like, I'm gonna put into practice everything that I know is true. And I was 230 pounds. I'm 5'11", and from January 1st, I did not consume any sugar, any vegetable oils, any plant-based food whatsoever. I was on meat, eggs, and a little bit of dairy. Okay, so I say no plant-based food. I did eat jalapenos because I can't do without spicy.
Sure.
And then I every once in a while had some macadamia nuts. So those were like my two things to make food exciting for me. And so yeah, so it took 5 months. I dropped 50 pounds. And the only exercise that so this was something about habits. It's better to start a very tiny habit that you can do, and then iterate it 1% a day or 1% a week or 1% a month, because then over time you'll be much farther ahead than if you try and do something that's unsustainable at first. And so exercise was a big one for me. I could have signed up for a HIIT gym or CrossFit or something like that, but I wouldn't have stuck with it at that point. And so I just got a set of dumbbells. Every time I went to the bathroom, I did a couple curls. And that's it. I was like, as long as I can stick with that.
That's the way it works.
Yeah, and it slowly, and after a couple weeks, I was like, well, I can do some shoulder presses too. And then after a couple weeks of that, I was like, I can put a bench and do some dumbbell presses. And so it just slowly iterated. And after 5 months, I had put on muscle and lost 50 pounds total. So of fat, I'd lost more than that. And so it just completely rewired my brain, and haven't looked back. I don't miss the donuts or the chips anymore. And
how was the getting off the sugar? How bad was that?
That was one of the worst experiences of my life. It was 3 to 4 days of solid torture. Like I say, I tell people all the time that I honestly felt like a crack addict. Like I was going through withdrawals. My mood was terrible. I was very angry. Like my wife was like, she couldn't like come near me. I was like very angry, and I was literally fantasizing about dumping Skittles into my mouth. Like I could not stop the craving for carbs, any carbs whatsoever. And then like day 4, maybe day 5, it was gone. My mood leveled out. My cravings stopped. And then after a month or so, it was like all my desire and like that sadness. A lot of times when you're getting over an addiction, you feel depression. Really, you feel sad because you're giving up something that used to provide you a lot of joy. And it was about a month, but maybe 2 months before that sadness left.
So that was probably getting fat adapted. Your body was having to create the mechanics to use fat.
Yeah. Right.
A lot of people experience that keto flu.
Yeah.
Did you feel kind of?
I think the withdrawals from sugar covered up the symptoms from the keto flu, and I'm sure it was there. I'm sure I had headaches and stuff from the keto flu there as I got fat adapted. But that really, the only way I can describe it is like a cold turkey drug addiction cut off.
You look great, man. You look like you've never been overweight in your life.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really funny. So I've got a YouTube channel, Hersey Financial, and if you go,
and I'm going to put it in the description below. I might even type it over there because this guy is awesome. You watch his stuff.
Thank you.
You really do a good job on helping me and everybody else understand it. And it's probably one of the fastest growing YouTube channels around, I would think.
It might be. I don't know. All I know is that I study how money works. I tell people about it, and people are watching my videos.
Well, when you start figuring this stuff out, it's like I got to tell people. It's very important. And so is this diet, because I've got some vegans, and they watch me all the time, and they're always harping on me.
Yeah.
And they're not mean or anything.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people, and I'm not just talking about vegans. They're starving themselves on a micronutrient level. You get so much good stuff out of red meat.
Right.
Essentially, they're like food compactors. They eat a whole field of grass and stuff.
Yeah.
And they condense it down into one bite.
It's almost like it's a natural factory that is designed to take plant food and convert it into protein and fat. It's like, what are we trying to do in the lab right now? Impossible Burger, Beyond Meat, and all this stuff. It's like, well, they're trying to take plants and turn it into meat. Well, we've got nature made that for us. It's called an animal.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Well,
I really appreciate you coming on with me.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
Don't forget, Joe Brown with Hersey Financial. I'll put it in the description below. I hope y'all have an awesome day. Like and subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow.